we're really hoping people out there will be interested in that and will be really keen to come and see what it is that we're doing. And if you're not, then wake up,
Yeah.
because these changes are coming, and we're trying to provide a vision for what those changes are. Not least to how to incorporate things such as the best use of technology into the classroom, and we're going to demonstrate this classroom model live. So if you're interested in that, you should come along. So correct me if I start getting these wrong, Mike, but we're at South Coast on the Monday morning of the 3rd of July. We're then just north of London in the afternoon of the 3rd of July. We're then in
Kent, Essex.
Essex, I think,
Essex, yeah.
Harlow. Then we're in Peterborough and Lincoln on Tuesday the 4th of July. Then we're in Scunthorpe and Durham on Wednesday the 5th of July. Then we're in Preston and Cheshire
Yeah.
on the 6th, and then Birmingham and Swindon on the 7th. So if you are anywhere near those places, you really should try and get along. And I mean, Mike, how would you describe the structures of that classroom? What kind of features do you think best describe that classroom?
Self-paced or student-paced probably is the headline, really. The current classrooms are teacher-paced. The teacher stands at the front generally. It's really easy to simplify the classroom down to say that the teacher just stands at the front and talks. You know, we know that's not the case, and there's lots and lots of really brilliant teachers out there. But the dominant model is one that is teacher-paced. And if you were to reflect on your practice, you would quickly come to that conclusion that you pace the speed at which your learners, your students, move through the course. You release material when you're ready to release them, or when the scheme of work says that you should release them. And yeah, it's a teacher-paced model, and the model we're going to demonstrate is going to be student-paced. So it's kind of scary when you first hear it, because it's kind of like we lose control. Teachers like to have that element of control, but there's checks in there to make sure that teachers still have control, and they still have that overarching vision of where the students are and where they're struggling. And there's no trade-off here. Like, if you use this model, you get more of that data. You get more control. Even though it seems like you lose control, you get more. So it's going to be really interesting. You can call it an experiment, I guess. If you come along, then you can expect to be a student in the class. So you're going to experience what it's like to be a student in a self-paced environment. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be like, we're definitely going to get things wrong, and there's going to be blunders, and it's definitely going to be a laugh. So yeah, come along. There's going to be other like-minded teachers there too.
Are we going to get lost at any point, Mike? That's my question.
If I am in charge of any kind of navigation, we're going to get lost.
Well, I mean, I think it's telling that yesterday we both visited the school, and I didn't manage to arrive to the school. I managed to arrive in a field, which is about 20 miles from the school, expecting that to be the place that I needed to be, and then was very nearly late. So that in itself is going to be, I think, kind of an interesting aspect of this.
And that's only half the story, really. On the way home,
I also took the wrong road on the way home as well, so that's going to make it interesting. But look, I wanted to sort of provocatively say to you, it's just flipped learning, isn't it? Isn't that what we're going to demonstrate? We're going to go there. We're going to say, look, use some videos. You can do some flipped learning, and it'll be a bit better. Isn't that what we're going to show?
Yeah, flipped learning is like a nice headline phrase that has kind of caught on. It sounds nice, you know. It sounds like it's a radically different model, and it is going to be a really good use of technology in the classroom. And Ofsted are going to come in and love it, and it's going to be amazing. Flipped learning literally just does exactly what it says on the tin. You flip what you would typically do in class with what you would typically do at home. So if you have a lecture style, you know, presentation or a note-taking session in your classroom, and then you set students an activity to do at home for homework, flipped learning just flips that round. And there's benefits to that, and in a self-paced model, there's elements of that, and you could look at that as the first step on the way to a self-paced, student-paced learning experience. But it goes much further beyond that when you become properly self-paced, student-paced, because that you just take away all of those boundaries of home and school. So you don't flip anything. Everything's available all the time. So if the perfect resource for that student at that moment in time is a lecture, a presentation, what do we call it, a tutorial, then the student has access to that at that moment, whether that's at home, at school, on holiday, on Christmas Day, if they happen to be wanting to do some work Christmas Day, you know, whatever point they wanted to do that, at night time, early morning, on the bus, whenever, they have access to
I'm
that
going to say
tutorial.
something strong here. I know people who worked with me yesterday will realise that I'm not fearful of making provocative statements. I think it's deeply our responsibility to make sure all those resources are available all the time in any educational model.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, this idea of releasing things in batches as the teacher, we release all the information for the first topic, then the second topic, then the third topic, and so on. I really don't think that. I mean, I really don't respect that model anymore.
Because the flip side to that is we're not releasing them; we're holding them back.
Exactly.
So if we're holding the resources back, then we're in theory holding the students back.
Yeah, or at least we're controlling the rhythm.
Yeah.
We're
As much as
controlling.
we said, it's radical and it's controversial. All those things. It's also graspable and just doable fairly quickly.
It's achievable.
It's definitely achievable, and that's one of the things we've put in this document that's in the comment section below in the description. Is that we've called this like an achievable model. That when you take it to a department or a school level, maybe it becomes a little bit more kind of achievable in the future.
But importantly, we've provided that vision too. This is not
yeah.
just something that's going to end in one classroom. This is something that has a fairly major knock-on impact to an awful lot of stuff, actually.
And it's not just PE. That's important as well.
Very
Lots of people
important.
watching this might be from PE background. This is like the roadmaps. This is definitely not just PE. This is broader than that. So
Yeah.
even if maybe if you can't get along, get one of your colleagues to come along from the English department or head teacher or teaching and learning lead or whatever.
Yeah.
Just if somebody could be there as a representative from your school, I think it would be very useful.
I think it's fair to summarize that by saying that we are developing a model and we're delivering and demonstrating a model of any classroom.
Yeah.
I mean, literally any classroom. So if you are in your job either partially or wholly a classroom practitioner, it's relevant to you. It doesn't matter what that classroom discipline is. We're gonna we come from that background of PE, but one of the people who's been centrally involved with this methodology development has been a modern foreign languages teacher. I mean, this model, it's really exciting. I was speaking to Marta about it the other day. This model potentially allows things such as different age ranges in any classroom, but in languages classrooms, having more than one language being developed in a particular classroom in languages. For example, it almost is. To an extent can even dissolve the idea of different groups, because the group is really just about the moment you access the classroom, rather than being something which is set or streamed or age group or batch related. And I think that's
there's really exciting knock-on effects.
Yeah,
of
huge,
this,
huge knock-on effects.
It's called Education Reimagined, and we almost called it the future classroom. The page in that document which has the classroom model laid out is called the future classroom now.
Yeah.
But we changed it because it's more than that. The whole document is more than that. It's reimagining education as a whole. It redefines what a classroom is, what a department is, what a school is.
Here with another teacher on YouTube who's done some rather interesting things in recent weeks and months. On that basis, I'm going to introduce you to this individual right here, whose name is Anna. Anna, thank you for joining us. You're very, very welcome.
That's all right.
Thanks very much, as my phone buzzes away in the background. Now then, Anna, I probably should introduce you with a different name, actually, because, of course, you are the somewhat now famous Test Checkmate on YouTube. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and what features on your channel on YouTube?
So I make maths videos for particularly people about to do and studying Key Stage 2 SATs. So that's people in year 6 mainly. And I've gone through the last year's SATs papers for the maths, and yeah.
So just to confirm, Anna, you're teaching effectively the content that was on last year's SATs paper, but there's something even more interesting about last year's SATs papers. How do you know that paper so well?
So I sat last year's SATs papers when I was in year 6.
Ah, okay.
So yeah.
So Anna, just to clarify for us then, so you're a maths teacher and you're a maths teacher online via YouTube, and you are how old, please?
I'm 12 years old.
So you're 12 years old and you're doing this kind of rather impressive thing, teaching people online. So how's that come to be?
So when I was studying for my SATs, my dad said, "Do you want to make some videos? It might help you prepare and things." So I did it, and then this year, I've had quite a lot more holiday than I normally do. So I think it was a Christmas and Easter that I started recording videos, maths videos. And
Okay, so so what you're saying there, Anna, is that your dad was a bit involved. I'm sure he's pretty proud of you at this point, because how many videos have you made so far?
I'm not sure, 20 something.
20 something videos, okay.
I think.
And those videos, as I understand it, at least, they've been viewed quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
And what sort of people are viewing them? Do you know that yet?
Mainly year sixes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but
So give us the description of a typical video. I mean, what are you including in this teaching? Is it you talking to a camera? Is it you and your voice? What is it you're doing?
well, you can't see me.
Mm-hmm.
You can just see like a black screen and me writing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can hear me.
Uh-huh.
And it's generally questions from last year's SATS paper.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some videos where I go through the paper bit by bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've also done some individual like skills, so addition, subtraction, fractions, things like that.
So let's say an 11 or 10-year-old or next year studying for their SATs, for example, they could go to your channel, and are you saying literally they would be able to? It would be able to help them. Maybe it wouldn't teach them the whole thing, but they would be able to study a significant proportion of their math study with you. That side of things,
so, yeah.
I think, is really important. We can't automate a feeling. We can't automate trust. And how do we develop a positive feeling and trust between educator and learner? Well, we give them time together. One of the key behaviors of the modern and developing teacher is listening. I'm going to say that again. One of the key behaviors of the modern teacher and the teacher that we're going to need in our schools going forward is listening, not delivering and teaching. We need the majority or a large amount of their time listening to people, listening to learners. So we don't have any intent in removing teachers from classrooms. We don't have any interest in undermining teaching. We just want to take the rote learning delivery and automate that so that that becomes accessible, repeatable. That becomes something that students, and also, let's be honest, I mean, the people who are watching this, I mean, they're keen, that on a Thursday morning, they're tuning in to watch us bang on and talk rubbish, but they're probably really great teachers. But let's be honest, there's a whole heap of schools in this country that don't have great teachers in their classroom. Some of them don't have teachers at all. Yeah. So the fact that a group of young people can have, and I know this is not an ego trip for me, I just happen to be the person that's recorded them, the fact that those young people can have me as their rote learning teacher is extremely facilitating for those people. And for those that have got a brilliant teacher in the classroom, it does something different. It changes the rhythm of that classroom so that rather than the brilliant teacher being required to transmit and be at the front, the brilliant teacher has all of their time for interaction with the students. So for me, that's crucial. But